Hi, I'm Dave Wurzel, and you're watching PHTV4 Police Update. And on Police Update, we're doing a special profile of a recently hired new officer for Palos Heights, Officer Jordyn Kuglarz, hired in November. Jordyn, welcome to Palos Heights.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, this is great, an opportunity to meet you and also welcome you to the community. So we're going to talk about, what your job is like, being an officer in Palos Heights. And your background and all that. Before we do that, though, can you tell us how did you decide to go into law enforcement, and then how did you end up in Palos Heights?
I studied criminal justice and psychology at Indiana University, and I ended up in Palos Heights. I'm actually from the area. I moved to Indiana for school, and I stayed there working for a few years, and then I wanted to come home.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're back. I am stumbling over the IU part. Yes, I'm a Purdue grad. We'll do this friendly, right? We'll put the rivalry aside, and we'll do a friendly interview here. Okay, so welcome back. How about the inspiration to go into law enforcement? Obviously, you had the educational background at IU. What was the inspiration like? Yeah, I want to be an officer.
I actually had two kind of role models, I guess, or two inspiration. One was a counselor at school, and then the other one was a friend of mine who was a police officer.
All right. So they helped give you the nudge that landed you into this, right? Okay. And then how, again, I've watched TV, I've seen the movies, I'm guessing that they're not completely accurate. For you as an officer in Palos Heights, is there a typical day? I mean, if so, what does that day look like?
I wouldn't say we have so much of a typical day, but we do have things that we deal with more often than not here.
Okay. And what does that look like? So you come in the morning, can you give us a sample of some of your, experiences during the day?
Sure. So typically when we come in the morning, we like to check the businesses and make sure that nothing was damaged or broken overnight. Throughout the day, we'll typically handle calls for service, such as like scam calls, people getting scammed for things like that, or maybe harassment, just typical calls for service. And then we do traffic enforcement as well.
Okay. And then I know, do you also end up in court sometimes? Is that part of it? And I'm not sure how you're assigned that, responsibility.
Every officer has like a specific court key day that they go to every month, and outside of that, sometimes you may be subpoenaed for other cases as well.
Okay, so there is a lot going on, and I'm imagining the pacing's probably uneven. There's some days where it's like, oh my gosh, it's nonstop, a roller coaster ride. There are other days where it's a little bit more even. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, and then how about this? For you, is this like your life career? Like you want to be a police officer? Do you have something else you'd like to do next, maybe?
I'd like to be a detective.
All right, Detective Kuglarz. All right, well, good luck. I hope you get to pursue that. And then one last thing, because we're going to step away from this, but you also have another part-time gig. Is that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. What do you do?
I'm in the Indiana Army National Guard.
Okay. What do you do for the Indiana National Guard?
Technically, I'm an automated logistical specialist.
That has got to be one of the top 10 titles I have ever heard. What does that mean? What does your job look like?
I basically do maintenance planning for construction equipment.
All right. Well, glad that you can manage both of those. Are you ready for a lightning round? Can we get to know you a little bit differently now?
I'm ready.
All right. How about when you were little, grade school, what did you want to be when you thought, when I grow up?
I wanted to be a baker.
A baker? What kind of baker? Are we talking like cookies and cake?
Cookies and cakes, yep.
All right. Do you have a favorite?
A favorite that I make would probably be like a mocha chocolate chip cookie.
All right. I hope have you had a chance to make those? Have you brought in cookies for your coworkers?
I have.
All right. Is there a way I can get a warning next time that happens, and I'll stop by for that? How about this? You get to go on vacation, recharge. What do you do, or where do you go?
I like to hike, so I go out west a lot.
Okay. Are you talking like backpack hiking, like in-country kind of stuff? Are you overnighting?
I haven't done any overnighting yet, just day trips.
All right. That sounds like a lot of fun, and I can imagine how that would help you clear. How about you're invited to speak at a career day, let's say in a high school maybe, right? And you're going to talk to people who are thinking about a career in law enforcement. What advice would you give them? I
would tell them to prioritize their health, their physical health and their mental health, probably even more so their mental health.
And why is that? I think we think about the physical demands of a job. Why the balance between the two?
Plainly said, people don't call the police on their best days. So we're typically dealing with a lot of people on their worst days. So you have to be a strong person to be able to deal with that.
Right. I mean, that is an excellent point. You have to be in a position where mentally you can handle something that's going to be mentally challenging in addition to physically challenging. How about this? A little bit different. Let's pretend that you've got 8 months in, your big time experience. They bring in somebody who's just starting out. What advice would you give to a rookie officer?
I would talk about complacency, the importance of not becoming complacent.
And why is that?
A lot of times we take calls over and over. For example, we may get an alarm call that's the wind typically, opening the door or something like that. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a false alarm, but you never know when that day comes where it might not be a false alarm.
Yeah, and that is being heightened alert, because just like you said, you don't know what the situation is. And obviously the risk of the danger for either the person or public and for yourself. Okay, excellent advice. How about this? So I'm assuming this is your dream job, but let's pretend this isn't your dream job. If you weren't going to be a police officer, what would that other dream job be for you?
I would like to be a travel blogger.
A travel blogger, wow. And any type of specific traveling in that blog, what would we be reading about you doing?
Probably hiking and eating.
Okay. Well, I hope you get a chance to pursue that. Maybe after the Indiana National Guard, you can couple those up. And then one last final question for you. How about, as an officer for Palos Heights, speaking to the community, what kind of advice or tips would you give them right now to be mindful for?
I would tell everybody to watch out for scams. These people who are doing these scams are getting very good at it. They're obtaining people's personal information through the internet or through other types of phone calls. AI is a big thing now. People are getting things in the mail or in their emails. I would just always say verify before you make any decisions. If you're concerned, if you have any questions about anything, you can always call us, and we've seen a lot of them, so we're getting pretty good at debunking them.
Okay, that is excellent advice when I think about it, because I think we've all been there. Like, is this real or not real? Verify. Great advice. And if you don't know who to verify it with, call the police department, and they can help you or send you to who can, right? Jordyn, thank you very much. Welcome to Palos Heights. I hope you have a long, great career here on top of being a travel blogger at some point. Thank you for being here. I'm Dave Worzel, and you've been watching PHTV4 Police Update. We've been talking with Officer Jordyn Kuglarz in the Palos Heights Police Department. Thank you for watching.